Today, we're going to talk about what confirmation bias is, why it's so sneaky in your financial decisions, and maybe most importantly, how to protect yourself from it.
Welcome to Wisdom and Wealth, where we talk about the human side of money. Join us as we dive beyond the numbers, unpacking the psychology of money to equip you with the tools you need to be wise in wealth.
I'm Frazier, Chief Behavioral Officer at RFG Advisory, and there's a mental trap that we all fall into that if we're not careful can quietly sabotage how we save, spend, and invest our money. It's called confirmation bias. And once you learn to spot it, you're gonna start seeing it everywhere. Confirmation bias is our brain's natural tendency to seek out information that we agree with based on what we already believe, and it tricks us into ignoring or downplaying information that doesn't align with what we already believe. We're wired to actively seek information that confirms our existing beliefs, and then once we find it, we actually will ascribe a higher value to that information. In fact, research tells us that when we see or process information that confirms what we believe, we actually get a rush of dopamine in our brains. Confirming our beliefs is actually a pleasurable experience. And when it comes to money, that means that we don't just look for facts. We look for the facts that make us feel good about the decision that we already want to make. So let me give you a couple quick examples, ways that I've seen this play out. Imagine you have somebody, and there's a lot of people who are like this, who believe that renting is just throwing money away. They hop on Google and they start searching why renting is bad. Well, what do they find? They're gonna find dozens of articles that confirm their belief that renting is just throwing away money. They're not searching for why buying a house is bad. What are the downsides of buying? Why should I rent? So they don't get to see a balanced perspective, or they dismiss them entirely. And what they do is they confirm their belief and they go buy a house that they're not even financially ready for and potentially end up house poor. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't buy a house. It's just the idea that we want to make a more informed, balanced decision, not confirming our beliefs, but based on objective information. Another example is thinking back to the very beginning of COVID, when businesses were shutting down left and right, there was a global shutdown, and we all kind of felt this sentiment. There's this belief out there that there is no way that the economy could survive this global shutdown. And the next thing you know, you pick up your phone, you read your email, you find an article, and the headline says, "Why the shutdown will tank the global economy." And all that does is just confirm the belief and the fear in your head that you've had all along. And so what you do is you go sell your long-term investments because you're now convinced there's no way that the economy can possibly thrive or even survive a global shutdown. But what did you not get? You didn't get the email, you didn't get the headline that said why everybody's overreacting to a global shutdown and how things could possibly bounce back. Confirmation bias, here's what it does. It narrows your vision. It keeps you locked into what you want to be true, even if reality is flashing warning signs saying that might no longer be the case. So how can we fight back? Like all of these biases that we talk about, they have downsides that we need to be aware of, but we can also leverage them to our advantage. We can become aware of them and not let it derail our financial future. Here are a couple things you can do. Number one, play devil's advocate. Ask yourself this question. No matter what your belief is, what evidence would I need to see to make me change my mind? It's that simple. Ask yourself a question. What would I need to see to believe differently? Number two, do what's called a pre-mortem exercise. This comes from psychologist Gary Klein. What you do is that you take yourself into the future and you imagine that the decision that you made based on the beliefs that you have failed. And then you go, if I'm in the future and it's failed, what caused it? So let's go back to the COVID example. And you believe that there's a global shutdown, there's no way the economy can survive. What you could do is sit there and before you decide to sell your long-term investment, you pause and you go, okay, let's say we're a year from now and my decision to sell these investments failed. What could have happened? Is it possible that a year from now, the shutdown's resolved or we figured out a way for businesses to thrive even in the midst of a shutdown? You're trying to go to the future and figure out alternate scenarios that you just can't envision or think of in the moment. Number three is getting diverse perspectives. Talk to somebody who either disagrees with you or feels differently than you. Could be a friend, could be a spouse, could be anybody in your life. But these days, you can also do that by going to the internet and finding somebody who believes differently than you, searching for it, trying to just sit and pause and go, I want to take in and understand the other side, the other perspective. Now, here's a twist. We can also embrace confirmation bias for the better. You can surround yourself with evidence that's based on, supported by proven ideal behaviors, the right behaviors. So things like reading books or finding articles about the long-term benefits of consistent saving and investing, or evidence in articles on the dangers of chasing hot stocks. You can actually let your bias work in your favor by continuing to reinforce good habits and good behaviors. So here's a challenge for you to help overcome or at least be aware of confirmation bias. Pick one financial belief that you have, something that you hold. Maybe it's my portfolio is safe. Maybe it's I'm great with money. Maybe it's renting is just throwing away money, like we mentioned earlier. And then take 5 minutes and actively search for the information that challenges that belief. Or ask yourself the question, what would I need to see to change my mind? And even if you don't change your mind, that's not the goal. Even if you don't change your mind, you'll have made a more informed, more balanced decision. Remember this, confirmation bias never goes away, but once you can see it, you can control it instead of it controlling you. As always, if you have questions, if you want to talk, you want to discuss, reach out, contact your financial advisor. And until next time, stay wise and well.